Okay, what is up everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing something completely different. We're going to be checking out a live stream for Runescape Dragonwilds. It's a new game that's going to be coming out. It looks kind of cool. From what I'm seeing so far, if this is it, I think this is it. I'm kind of excited for it, so we're going to just check out the live stream and, do some commentary on it. It's a little bit chilly, so I'm wearing my gown. We're just going to see how this goes. Never really done something like this. It looks awesome though. Runescape Dragonwilds. Here we go.
Hello everyone and welcome to our first developer live stream. I am Mod Doom, Senior Community Manager for Jagex's new survival game, Runescape Dragonwilds. I may be on your second or third monitor if you've relegated me that far. You may actively be skilling and chilling right now in a RuneScape game of some sort. But good news, we've got another RuneScape game to take over your first monitor. That's right, pride of place right here. We are launching a brand new game into Steam Early Access. It is a single purchase game. It is not an MMO. It is an entirely new experience. And today we're going to be showing you gameplay, behind the scenes, chats with some developers from the team, and of course, most importantly, you'll find out when you, yes you, can get your hands on this game, and we'll be sharing a release date with you right at the end of the stream, so don't go anywhere. Okay. We're opening up development on this with you, the community, during early access, because we know that that's how RuneScape and Old School got to be as amazing as they are, and it got us where we are today. So we're keeping that philosophy, we're taking that learning forward, and we're going to be opening up development with you right now. So
okay, before it continues, I've never played RuneScape, I've never been into it, I never cared for it, so I'm going with fresh eyes here as a just standalone game, so that's where I'm coming from with this.
Honored to be joined by two amazing members of the team right here. Joining me on the couch are two of the people who have been with this project from the very beginning. Welcome on in Mod Dutch, our executive producer, and Mod Rook, creative director. Hello, gents. How you doing?
Hello. Very well. Very excited to be here on my first ever live stream.
Fantastic.
I'm doing great, Jake, and happy to be back on the couch.
Amazing. Great stuff. So, let's get right into it. This project is the culmination of years and years of work. How are we feeling?
Super excited about what's going to happen.
Absolutely terrified.
I mean, very fair responses. So, this is a survival game. Why a survival game?
Is it an open world survival?
So, at the end of 2021, we started prototyping. We had some ideas about what we wanted to do. And specifically, we were thinking about a new game for RuneScape and something that would sit like comfortably next to the existing live games and offer a lot of freedom to the players, a bit sandboxy and what something that would be MMO adjacent. And so we came to survival. That would, for us, be the natural fit. And that's where we started.
Okay.
Amazing. So the next question is, it's launching into early access. Why early access?
So Jagex's DNA is all about asking the players for their opinion, and this is no different. So after a protracted period of building the game, prototyping, we eventually went out and did early alpha. And closed alpha was with about 14,000 players, and they gave us their opinion about what needed to change, what needed to improve, perhaps what our roadmap could look like. And that is when we decided, well, it's time to go into early access and to see where we can take this together with the community.
Absolutely. So, as creative director, I think you've got a lot of oversight of the design and the challenges. So what kind of challenges do...
So you level up skills as you use them here, which I've noticed now, which I think is very RuneScape-y, if I'm not mistaken. That's a big thing with RuneScape.
And it's like more in terms of RuneScape, right? What challenges do survival bring, if we want to bring that to a RuneScape game, is one of opportunity and challenge. So for
I don't know
us,
when this
we
hotbar at the
to do
top
something
started, but
very
I don't
different,
really like it.
We didn't want to be a typical survival game, so we thought, what was it about RuneScape that we could bring as a pillar? And that's when we fell on magic. And usually, we see magic being used in RuneScape, and was like, how could we use that to solve survival friction? And that's essentially the open tab. So you will find several skills within the game, all inspired by RuneScape skills. As you level those up and progress, you will unlock magical skills, spells that will help you in your sort of survival challenges, whether that's through woodcutting or mining or the plethora of skills that we have in the game.
So you basically Use magic
It's
to
a
build
survival
as
game,
well.
so we
That's interesting.
internally have always talked about the
Got a bit of a
design
free camera when
triangle
you
of
do it.
exploring, surviving, and thriving. So how do you balance those, especially when you start to throw magic into the mix?
It's a constant balancing act. So you, as you can imagine, trying to balance both explore, survive, and thrive is sort of a constant balancing where exploration should provide a very deep sense of player progression. You want to be able to find
That's
things,
cool.
discover things,
I like that.
corner, whether that be lore, recipes, for new materials.
I like
things you can
that.
craft. When it comes to survival, that's really the friction and the challenge. So that's the thing that will, trip you up.
They got
get
some
in the way,
interesting
but
concepts
the balance
here.
there is to not feel like it's too punishing or something you can't overcome. And then thriving is the payoff. It's the reward. So once you thrive and once you've progressed through your skills, once you've explored, that's really where you can master your environment.
Amazing. Now, one thing that we haven't really talked about externally yet is what we internally call the anima twist. So what is the benefit of doing this instead of bringing something directly across from existing RuneScape games?
The Anima Twist itself is a great device to provide an influx of magic, quite literally. Ashenfall is oozing with this wild magic, and it has changed flora and fauna in interesting ways.
Those are
Some
big rats.
will be visual, taking things that you know and love from RuneScape, but sort of providing a little twist in how they look, but also opens gameplay variety. So we can have things provide different gameplay opportunities that will surprise and delight players when they encounter things they think they know, but in a very different way.
Amazing. So all of this is laying the foundations for a long journey for us, a long journey through early access. I want to be clear with everyone at home, loads of people already typing in grats to Mod Dutch for leveling up his woodcutting during that little bit of footage you saw earlier. Big grats on that, congrats. I want to be clear with folks that this part of early access is purely because this is a game that's still being built. It's a game that's in progress, and we fully understand and embrace that there is going to be more to come. There is going to be more skills, there's going to be more NPCs, more quests, more everything. So we are opening this up early purely for that outcome. That's why we're here, that's why we're doing this, and it's one of the main philosophies that I've always been so excited about working on this project is it's going to be a lot of
free to play? No, it's
community
definitely not free to play. They
engagement
really
and work,
mentioned
and I'm
that.
going to be very busy. I'm so tired, but it's fine. That's the way that we make this game the best it can possibly be. So I'm incredibly excited at that idea. Speaking of developing the game and building it forwards in the direction we want to go in, these two lovely folks have been giving us lots of direction going forwards, but they've been doing that for ages, and so we want to see about opening things up to you, the community. We want to share today what we're building towards already. We already know the first steps of where we're going into early access and beyond, so we want to share that with you. If you know me and you know my time on RuneScape, you know I love talking about roadmaps, but we got ahead of ourselves on this one, and we actually have one to show you. So here's one for you to look at right now. This is a banger, and I know bangers. This is all content that
New
is
region, new
currently
dragon
being worked on
overlord,
by our team
new
that we are planning
skills,
to introduce
RuneScape
through our time
roots.
in early access, that we are going to be building towards as we get you hands-on. And all of this is subject to player feedback, as when we launch into early access, we want to know what's working with you, what isn't working, what's gelling, and what we can prioritize. So this is all subject to change. We don't want to put deadlines or dates on this because it'll be ready when it's ready.
I want to see what the combat looks like.
I think that's an excellent first impression.
Surely they're going to show us
I
some of
want to
that.
thank both of you so much for joining us on the sofa or bench or whatever I've crafted here. I'm really sorry, I'm not very good at the building stuff yet. Anyway, Mod Dutch, Mod Rook, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Doom.
Now, doing a quick Twitch chat check-in. How are we doing at home? Everyone okay? Everyone got snacks? Everyone's loving this. Hello. Seasonal cows? I wish. There's one very funky cow, but the future is a mystery to us all. Now, I'm so excited for everyone. I wish I had a party hat. I'm sorry, chat. I just saw that message. Right. Twitch chat's doing okay. They're Twitch chats, so I'm not losing any sleep over it. Let's talk lore. Now it's time we consulted with lead narrative designer for RuneScape Dragonwilds. You know his name. You fear his call. It's Mod Raven, everyone. Welcome on in.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm very good. I'm very excited.
I would hope so. So, the release of RuneScape Dragonwilds is fast approaching, and it marks a return for you in particular to Gielinor. How does this new game embody the spirit of the existing titles?
So it's obviously it is different. Like, it's not an MMO; it doesn't necessarily play the same way. But we try and keep, particularly from a narrative point of view, the same sort of vibe that RuneScape and Old School give. You know, relatively sensible stories, but mixed in with nonsense and whimsy and that kind of daftness, but also magic. And it's building on the foundations of what we've already laid. Like, if you're a RuneScape player, there's stuff for you to learn and pick up on. Obviously, if you're not a RuneScape player, there's still stuff for you to learn and pick up upon. But we're building on those foundations. We're building on the idea of making it your own. RuneScape is very good at you go in there with your own goals, and we're very similar with this sort of game. You go in, you make your goals, you choose and set your adventure.
Amazing. So, obviously, for those unfamiliar with your experience, you've been here at Jagex in the past, and you've written many a quest, you've killed many a character. It's fine, no one's bitter about it. So, what is it like being able to tell a totally new story in a land lost to time in a familiar setting?
It's been really interesting and really enjoyable as well to craft this story. So we've, like I said, we've built on that existing foundations. There's a lot of RuneScape has these ideas, these goals, these things, these themes that we can build on and enjoy. That kind of daft humor mixed in with the seriousness, the magic, rumband, all these sort of interesting worlds and characters. And what we're able to do is we're able to take some of that and say we've got this new continent, this new place that's separate from all this, and let's build on it and put it there. So we've got characters you recognize, characters that you know, but we get to tell additional stories about them. We've got like factions that you know about and factions that you don't know about yet as well.
It looks cool.
Build on and expand and tell you. And of course, we've got dragons, but we get to do something slightly different with our dragons because they're awesome.
Yes, the dragons that you may run past on your wildy runs to do whatever it is.
I hope we get it like a dragon mount.
Obviously,
That would be
getting
sick.
people, is one thing. Our dragons are slightly different. So, bearing that in mind, how hard has it been to balance creating something new, approachable, and inviting, while also having the backdrop of, oh, there's 24 years of lore here that I've just got to deal with, I guess?
It's been both tricky and enjoyable and exciting. Like, we've got this, as I said, this wonderful foundation of RuneScape, so we just get to build it, add more, do things with it. We try and expand on little bits of stories that have maybe not been covered in some of the past. We explain some of lore that players may have gone, I wonder why this is. And we do kind of hint and give
I
some
suppose
of that.
not
But
everybody has a computer.
we also get to tell our own
Or
stuff,
console.
and we get to do different things, like the Dragonkin that we have, and maybe not quite the Dragonkin that players are familiar with. So there's new stories to discover there, new things to encounter. Our dragons are very different from the RuneScape dragons. There's new things to discover there, new stories together, but we still have that foundation, that things that we build on. So RuneScape players, like I said before, will have stuff that they can go, oh, I recognize that, and ooh. But new players who've maybe not encountered any of RuneScape stuff before can come in and go, oh, I get this, I understand this, because we're built in such a way that you should be able to understand your path, but if you're familiar with it, you can start going, okay.
Yeah, obviously, if
There's a
you're
few more things
familiar
together,
with
but it's been
RuneScape, you'll
very
make the connections
So
between
if
everything.
if you're a completely voracious lorehound who's badgering people like Raven and Shrike in the Discords, being like, I have questions about this, you're going to be fine. But also if you're Lil Timmy who burned bread as a free-to-play in like 2007 and is like, I remember RuneScape, oh, this looks awesome. There's also stuff for you. It's very approachable. There's going to be some really cool stuff that you can explore. You can enjoy some quests. There's some funny dialogue. I don't know if there's actually any sort of celestial cabbages that you need to worry about yet. But
It's obviously
fine.
a reference to the
absolutely fine.
first one.
So, focusing on our story, what brings the ragtag bunch that we saw in the trailer, but also what brings our adventurers to the continent of Ashenfall?
So our adventurers, they're lured here by the notion of adventure, by the notion of discovery. So this continent that has been not known or forgotten about has started to kind of materialize. It's got a kind of veil over it that was left there by a certain green-horned god, and people have noticed and gone, "Oh, adventure, fantastic!" And so then they're now heading towards that place. Obviously, it's going to go very well, as we've seen from the trailer. It's certainly not going to be bad for them.
So, moderately doomed voyage, but they managed to get down they got down one lodestone, and that's, as you know,
shit.
that's all you
My
need.
volume.
They're going to be sending out the call for help, and that's you, the person at home in chat. Hello, you.
So we
I'm going
answer
to
the
pick
call.
someone at random. Jesse, hello, you, that person. You need to answer the call of adventure. Get in here. Don't worry about how big that dragon is. We'll sort that out. You can figure this out. We'll all explore it together. So that's our adventurers arriving to the continent of Ashenfall. Can you, and I'm going to say, can you give us a brief, underlining the word brief here, history of Ashenfall for people who don't really know the context of why this continent is here, from the first age to today?
So in the beginning, there were space worms. The space worms are hungry. They settled on the planet, went to sleep to nom on the anima. But there was some anima they didn't particularly like. It wasn't pure, so they found a way to vent it out of their environment, and that is the continent of Ashenfall is this place where anima is vented from. A certain green horned god came to the continent and went, ooh, what's this? This is glowy, shiny magic. Found special rocks to go plink. Ooh, it fits together nicely. Gave it to his minions, who went, yay, we can do magic now. The minions very happy about this, made a little society. They gathered all together. Some of the people in the society did bad things. Guthix went, I'm off. As he left, he laved a veil over everything so it would hide this island forever, but it wasn't a particularly good veil, and other things found it, starting with the Dragonkin, who turned up and went, well, we like this place. It's weird and interesting, and settled there for a bit, and then started doing what Dragonkin always do, and made dragons. Then
It's a
more
bit of
humans
weird lore.
arrived, from the God Wars, along with some other people, and they got together, made little factions, and then started fighting, as you do. This wasn't just the familiar gods, there were a couple of new gods there as well. The fighting kicked off. One of the new goddess Lugrim, asked for help from these strange people called the Dragonkin, who went, we've got some dragons we want to test, and unleashed it on everyone, which is obviously very sensible and very wise. In exchange for doing this, Lugrim assisted with their experiments, which is again a very sensible plan for the Dragonkin, because it certainly didn't create Kuldra, and she certainly didn't eat the Dragonkin. It all went very, very well, and then the dragons murdered everyone.
I'm not going to remember any of
those who
this.
weren't murdered kind of hid away, and that's kind of where the continent is now, in death, doom, destruction, and then you arrive.
The vibes are in shambles until you showed up. So thank you for showing up. Wow, everyone in chat is really excited for Jesse to kill that dragon. Good luck. So tell us, what are existing RuneScape fans going to learn about, and then what do those new in the franchise have in store for them?
So existing RuneScape, well, both new and existing fans will, of course, learn about the story. They'll learn about the setting. There's a bunch of lore books. There's a bunch of lore things you to uncover. Read all the journals. And you will learn about some well-known NPCs. We will expand on some of their backstories. So people like Vanica. We've got a bit more about Vanica. You'll learn a bit more about he of Button Knife fame. Of course, we've got Zanuck there because we have to by law, and you'll learn a bit more about them and some of the stuff that's going on. Obviously, there's the dragons, the Dragonkin, a whole new faction to discover, weird goblins, and just a bunch of other random stuff.
It's a real melting pot in there, and so I'm very excited for everyone to start unpicking all of the threads. And
People are very excited about this. They're
manager's
already
path
saying give the
through
money.
chaos to see the master machinations that Mod Raven has been cooking away at for an unnerving amount of
Oh
time.
my god.
But speaking of time, I want to thank you so much for your time, Mod Raven. It is very much appreciated, and I am so excited on behalf
Somebody
of the
definitely just
RuneScape
got
communities
banned.
about everything you are cooking up for us. So, folks, now we are going to talk to a few more of the incredible members of this team that have brought this incredible game to fruition. While we get them in
Turn
here
the
and on
channel
the
for now.
sofa and talking, I've got a video for you. You, by chance, might know that Jagex has a bit of a history of creating bangers, absolute bops, audacious hits, and music that moves you. Well, our audio team have done it again. And so, here's a little bit of the behind the scenes as to how our incredible main theme came to fruition. It's a good one. Don't go anywhere.
I just want to see the gameplay. Not chopping down trees, I want to see combat. I don't even know what instrument that was. It looked like a half guitar, half violin thing. Was that breaking the rock? Okay. So they're gonna use magic for a lot of just the ordinary farming of resources. Which is an interesting take. No more just, you know, pickaxe and axe sort of thing. Although you do use it for the magic, it looks like. Oh, there's a dragon. Okay, so it looks like party of 4. Here we go. Okay. Bow and arrows. So you got an archer. You obviously got mages. Looks like you got dungeons with traps. Some sneak. There's a mage. I wonder if there'll be like a summoner or like a charmer of some sort. It'll be really nice. Okay, there's some mage abilities, like a fireball. Ooh, look at that dragon. Makes me think of the Sea Beasts movie or whatever it's called. That looked pretty cool.
What a track, huh? It gives me goosebumps every time. There, you've seen some of the amazing work that our audio team put into bringing our main theme to life. And we've got a handful of the folks behind that. Please welcome Mod Debris and Mod Dodds. How are you both? Hello.
Hello, good to see you, man.
Good, thanks, you.
Good to have you in. So, first off, some people, Ragoom and a few others in chat, picking up that there was some Welsh in that. So, ignoring the Welsh for a little bit, how did we bring the music of Dragonwilds as a whole to life? How has the soundtrack of Runescape Dragonwilds come to fruition?
Okay, well, it actually all started with that fiddle that you saw on there, me scrubbing away. So yeah, the fiddle, I composed a lot of the motifs that we started off the soundtrack with on the fiddle, and then we opened it out to the rest of the team, and Mod Dodds here, Mod name here, Mod Dodds here, rather, sorry, playing guitar, and we played some bouzouki, we played some mandolins, those kind of instruments, trying to get a more kind of primitive, folky vibe than we would have got with something like more orchestral instruments.
I think they got that.
So,
It felt very
we also
folky.
worked with a nickel harper player. Nickel harper is like an old Norse fiddle, and it's played with keys. It's like the strings get stopped with keys, rather than stopping them directly with your fingers. So you get this kind of really clicky, clacky, clicky, clacky kind of sound. And then it's got sympathetic strings on it, which resonates when the main strings are bowed. So you get this really beautiful kind of resonant sound. So it was things like that, and a sitar, which is like an ancient lute kind of instrument. So getting these really kind of rustic, earthy sounds in there. And the main theme, obviously, we worked with the Purcell Singers, an incredible choir based in London.
Wonder if there's going to be character customization.
Yes.
You would think so.
Absolutely. From the moment we first
So I hope
put
so.
even a snippet of that music out, immediately people were complimenting the work of both Percival Singers and Ali Baniotti, and also yourselves for putting it all together, of course. I mean, it's not just to say that they did all the work, but they did an amazing job. So thank you very much to those folks to make it as good as it is. So audio is broken up, obviously, into both the soundtrack, which our players love, and it's full of bangers, of course, but there's also the ambient soundscapes, and that almost every action and reaction is marked with sounds. So how much of what the audio team does is ambient audio?
We talk a lot in sound design about the emergent soundscape, which is that's everything that you hear at any given moment within the game. You could be standing still and doing nothing, but you would still hear the sound of a chicken walking past, or you would hear some music that might come in or something. So we're always thinking about everything that happens at once. In terms of how that kind of balances out, music is really like the icing on the cake. It's about 10% really of what we do, and then the rest of it is all in the sound design, and then the tech that we use to drive that sound design. So it's we've taken an approach with this where we wanted the sound to be tactile, visceral, and colourful. So tactile sound, as in sound that you can really feel in your hands. So imagine if you were the character in the game, if you picked up a sword, you would feel the shiny metal, you would feel the cold metal in your hand, you'd feel the weight of it. But you're not going to feel that as a player because you've only got sight and you've only got sound to experience it with. So we have to do as much as we can with the sound to bring those things to life. So interacting with any kind of material is something that we've really tried to bring out, and that's about making it tactile. And then making it visceral, which is all about evoking emotions. When I pull the string of a bow back, I want to feel powerful. When I chop down a tree and I hear it crack as it's about to fall down, I want to feel satisfied. So it's about bringing those quite primal emotions through in sound design. And then colourful, because the game is colourful. It's a beautiful, very bright, colourful game, and the sound needs to be as well.
Yeah.
And that means that every individual element of sound, everything that makes a sound in the game has a real variety and a real it has myriad different flavors that come through. So the dragon, it's not just going to roar, it's going to growl, and it's going to ruckle, and it's going to breathe, and it's going to have all this kind of flapping and scale sounds and stuff like that. And it's through the multitude of elements that you really bring these things to life in the sound design.
Absolutely. So the key takeaway here is if you play this game on like a $1 headset, you are completely robbing yourself of the experience. Don't do it. Both Mod Debris and Mod Dodds will be really upset at you. So, Mod Dodds, not just a pretty face and a beautiful storytelling voice. We would love to hear from you about how you've used the tech to make the world feel alive in various biomes across this amazing continent. So, well, that's two questions in one. I'm feeling mean. How do we make the world feel alive in various biomes?
So I can merge them all into one. That's fine. But it's like with the tech, we're using like Unreal Engine 5 for this, and they've got their newer meta sounds functionality, which has been great to work with. Instead of just like playing sounds in places, we can manipulate them, change them, adapt them, and make them perform in different ways depending on the situation of the game and the scenarios of the game data we're being given to make it feel more alive and more entertaining to listen to.
Is he Scottish?
But in terms
It
of the
sounds like
biomes
it, right?
and stuff like that, we have we wanted to make sure that each biome had its own individual characteristic and reason for the way it sounded, and give that feeling, like what Mod Debris was saying about like that visceral in the world experience. So if you're in a woodlands away up in the Highlands, I want that to sound different, and compared to the woodlands and the lowlands, different myriads of birds or little squirrels or other noises that are going to make through them, or as well made the tech to work out where if you're in sparser areas like highlands, you know, you're going to hear the bird call, but then it's going to echo all the way through and bounce about with the reverbs and make it sound really lush and like it's in the world and you're experiencing this living environment. For it, whereas it's going to sound more dense and a little bit more chaotic, and there's going to be more wildlife down by lakesides, and it's going to sound like you can't pick out one individual creature and stuff like that. But in order to bring that all to life, we looked at a lot of the art direction, which has had this wonderful anima twist put into it, and these creatures are so beautiful and interesting and different, so they've been morphed, and in order to morph that kind of sound and make it feel right, we had to manipulate them in different ways. That we
crazy
that
looking
started
horns.
with creatures like
Antlers.
birds and frogs and bears and dogs and cows and lemurs
There's a
and
rabbit in the background.
alligators and all this weird stuff. I think there's even just mad stuff in there that people have went and picked out, foxes and penguins. There's a penguin in there somewhere as well.
They're always behind it. I knew it.
Always penguins. And then we've got then as well, we then went around and we're finding other weird sounds around the office. You know, we'd be opening a door and you'd get a creak somewhere, or I was getting water and the drain was like as it was doing it, and you could collect all these noises around the office, and rubber mallets on glass or on metal, and make these hollow like rumbling noises that make it sound like a big throated creature, you know, and or even just badly played clarinet, like, get some honking noises in there for some fun terror words and stuff like that. That's what. It was us trying to play badly, and lastly, we actually then used our own voices to add to it to make these weird, nasty sounding creatures, you know, just us. We must have sounded mad in the office that day, just screaming yoo-hoo, yoo-hoo into microphones, trying to get the
Dia going. You've got both of our voices.
It's us merged together, and I think there's other people who have been working with us that have got their voices in goblins and stuff like that as well. So it's all over the place. We've just scattered all these sounds and morphed
Should be
them
pretty
like
good.
an anima twist.
Yeah, it's amazing, and I know that just from even when I first sort of initially came onto the project, and I was starting to talk about what everyone was doing and what I could learn. I think I mentioned in passing to Mod Debris, I was just sort of like, oh, I'm going on a trip to Asia, and I'm going to be staying in sort of a rainforest chalet, and I was so excited because it's the biggest trip I've ever done. I was like, oh my god. Mod Debris was like, I need you to record the ambience in that rainforest. You must get me that. It's so rich and so lush. He was like, the sounds. And he insisted I record them all in FLAC format, and I sent them over. I don't even know if they made them in the game, but your face lit up as soon as I was like, I'm in a rainforest. You're like, oh, you have to go. So it's been amazing, and the level.
There's an owl in the game, which I was staying in this cottage in Norfolk, and I heard a tawny owl on the roof, and I just stuck my phone out the window, and I just got this. I can't do it with my cold, sorry. And that's it. Yeah, that's in the game now. It's great.
Amazing. So. I mean, it's very obvious how much the audio team.
They
and
clearly
this
love their
entire
job.
team-
They're
it's
very
emblematic
excited
of how
about the
much
sound.
The entire team here cares about this project and the love and the intricate detail that's going into this. But we are still early access. So what does early access mean for the audio team?
I mean, we've given full coverage across the game, and we're incredibly proud of the work that this outstanding audio team has done on this project. There are just some places to go with some aspects of it, really. It's more about making it more itself, making it more tactile, more visceral, more colourful, all those things that I say over and over again to you. Particularly, I would say, with the magic is one area where I really want us to go further. And it's about it's such a unique thing to be able to work with the magic in this game, because it is such a unique approach to magic in a game, and so we have just such a broad opportunity there to really see how these different colors, these different effects are gonna sound, what I want to do is really feel like the raw energy of anima that's coming out underneath, whilst visually you might see this very pretty, sparkly thing going off, but underneath you want to feel that
The whole world
that energy.
lurching to make this happen, absolutely. And even the survival spells that we've got in there right now, they're amazing. You can really feel that. So I'm
Survivor
happy to spoil that there's a spell where or explodes at your command, and just that sound, that swelling, and it's visceral, it's tactile, it's colourful. Yeah, you get me to say it, but that feels amazing, and that level is what we are constantly striving for as we continue to build and iterate and progress. Is we're going to keep adding more of that and deepening that, and it's
more generally as well. I mean, I know, you know, so we started off a lot of the music on this project. You know, we didn't want to be a cover band. You know, we want to find our own sound, and we've got a lot of original music, which is very much our own thing, and we've also got a lot of classic RuneScape music, which has gone in there, and of course that is incredibly popular with players, and that's something we want to do more of. We will do more of.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're very excited as we head into early access and as we go beyond. I'm going to be banging on Mod Debris and Mod Dodds' doors to be like, okay, what's next? What do we want to show players? What do we want to talk about? And do we feel like this is hitting the mark? And getting
gameplay,
your thoughts
please.
on,
Let's go.
are these tracks hitting the mark for you? So we're all very excited about this step in the process. So Mod Debris, Mod Dodds, thank you for joining us in the studio, and thank you for all the amazing work that you have put into this game. RuneScape Dragonwilds is infinitely better for the amazing contributions you and the audio team have made, and we are very grateful. So thank you both.
Thank you so
very,
much.
very much. Okay, we have now heard from the wonderful team over in audio. So I'm going to be joined by some representatives from production and art. I'm doing a vibe check on the chat. I'm seeing a lot of emotes. Does that mean someone did something? I'm disappointed in you.
Yeah.
It's fine. That's a future me problem. But I'm glad we're all doing okay. I'm seeing some pineapple on pizza emotes. That's Mod Shogun if ever I've seen that. I'm disappointed but not surprised. Well, we are delighted to be joined by two of the amazing people representing production and art here on RuneScape Dragonwilds. Please welcome in Mod Sharky and Mod Art. Hello.
Hi.
So, welcome on in. How are we doing? How are we feeling?
Good. Yeah.
Amazing. Good stuff. So, Mod Sharky, why is making a game so complicated?
That is a very good question. The main reason why is because we've got so many people on the team who do very, very specific things, right? And getting something that might seem quite simple on the surface to actually work involves so many different people, right? And so many different areas of those expertise. So if you think about something, say, like character create, which is fairly standard part of a game, you know, most games include a character create, you want to be able to pick a hairstyle.
Yeah.
So that's not nearly as straightforward as you would think it is, right? Because you've got, you know, Mod Art and the wonderful character team who make some great hairstyles in there. And you've got the tech artists who make the shaders work properly and things like that. And so, but then you've got to select the hairstyle you want in a menu. So you need your UI engineers and your UI artists to make a menu. And then you've got some VFX around the buttons on the menu. And you've got nice sounds when you click the buttons on the menu, right? But then you've also got the engineers making sure that whatever you pick is what then displays on your character in game, that the other players in the game see the thing that you've picked, that it saves properly. So next time you load your character, it's still the same. You know, in that character create menu, you've got like some environment in the background. You've got sort of the idle animations on the character. You've got some nice lighting so you can get the previs on it. So there's all sorts of different people involved in, like, you know, putting that fairly straightforward thing together. And then you've got the production team kind of wrangling that all, making sure everything happens all in the right order. You've got the QA team testing it. You've got the localization team making sure you can see it in different languages. So like even that sort of fairly standard part of a game involves so many different people doing so many different things that all need to come together at the same time.
So if I ask them to put my hairstyle in the game, they're going to kill me. Okay, noted. Right, writing that down. So that all sounds very complicated. So this is a bit of a no-brainer. What are the challenges of getting a game ready to go live into early access?
Yeah, there are some challenges to that, right? Because obviously you've got all of those complicated things happening, and then when you're actually releasing into the hands of the players, you need all of those things to be working properly at the same time, and that can be quite a challenge. And sort of the way to get everything working properly is to slow down and stop changing things. But equally, as game developers, we are all perfectionists, and so we all want to do as much as possible to make what the players are going to experience the best it can possibly be. So we're all trying to change as many things as possible, while also trying to stop changing things so that everything's still working. And finding that balance is a challenge, and you have to make some difficult decisions, make some prioritization calls. And when you go into early access, you're then putting things into the hands of players for the first time. And it might be that like what we thought was important isn't necessarily what the players thought was important. It might be that, you know, players, they're going to go and do things that we didn't expect as well. So you're sort of basically trying to predict what needs to be working properly as well, which sometimes we don't get right. So
They're
that's
gonna
one
have
of the really
private
exciting things
service
about
for this,
early
right?
access is that we can start bringing all that feedback in and sort of, you know, calibrating what it is that we need to invest our time in and which bits are important according to the feedback of the players as well. So it's really exciting from that perspective as well as being challenging.
Yeah, sorry to everyone in the chat getting called out for being freaky in their play styles. We can't predict you. We're so sorry. We're trying our best. So, finally, you've been, as lead producer, as you mentioned, you're herding cats a little bit and trying to keep this passionate team of people who just want to keep adding more stuff, even if it might slightly break the game. Tell us about this team. Tell us about the RuneScape Dragonwilds team. Who is it made up of? What kind of team is it?
It's a great team, honestly. I've loved working with this team. I've been on this team about 3 years, and just everyone is so passionate about what it is that we're making here. Like it's a really nice team. It's a remote team, which comes with its challenges, right? There are some people on this team that I've never met in real life, but it does mean that we have people sort of from all over the world, loads of different
How do
backgrounds.
developers
who come
keep
from loads of different
secrets like
places who are
this?
bringing
That's
their own
crazy.
perspectives and their own ideas and their own experiences in, and sort of so we've basically been building this team sort of from the ground up while we've been making this game, and it's been a really great experience, honestly. Like it's a wonderful team. They're all really, really good people that I've loved working with.
You are just saying that because they're like right there through the wall behind us. Hi everyone, hello. Be good, don't be loud. I can hear you, be good, thank you. Okay, so mod art, you've sat here very patiently. I wanted to ask you about, obviously we've been showing off the gorgeous environment of Ashenfall. The environment is a major factor in both gameplay and aesthetics. So what's the story here?
What's the story? So, as you say, it is hugely important. Firstly, we need to create something that looks good, right? So you can see.
I do
obviously a
like
lot
the
of
art
imagery.
style that
We
they've
want to
gone
create
for.
something that is aesthetically beautiful. This has to be a place you want to go to. It has to be a place you're going to want to spend time in. So we've invested a huge amount of effort into just first of all making it look great. Obviously, we want this world to connect with RuneScape as closely as possible. So
Bro, that deer has the
tried to go
longest neck
with a lot of
ever.
things that people are going to find very familiar.
That's
But
crazy.
we've also pushed things a little bit as well, where we're pushing into something new as well. But yeah,
They're gonna
in terms
call
of
it like a
aesthetics,
long neck or
magic
some
is
shit like that.
everywhere. You'll probably see it, a lot of the imagery. Hugely important for us. So you'll see magic in the sky, magic's in the land, it's everywhere. Magic is what's shaping the world itself. So you'll see chasms, it's ripping it up, it's shaping it, but it's also shaping the creatures as well. So yeah, just in terms of aesthetics, we've put a lot of work into it. But as you say, a survival game, it's all about gameplay, and we've got to think about, right, well, what is really important? Players need to know why they're there. So we use storytelling, right? So you're gonna, when players land, they're gonna see a lot of dragonkin structures in there. They're gonna be curious, where are these guys gone? You know, a lot of human structures, things that, you know, nature's reclaiming this place, and there's a mystery, right? And they need to kind of figure out what's happened here. So that's part of it. It's a lot of storytelling, golden path. We want players to go certain ways. This is where the talented team figure out these sight lines, ways to sort of encourage players to do certain things at certain times and to explore. So there's a lot of effort has gone into shaping this world. And then just in terms of a huge part of our game is progression, right? So we've scattered things around this world, resources, so players need to mine, they need to find things because they need to progress. If you don't progress, you're going to be beaten up.
That's generally a good rule to take from this. So we've seen some of the familiar flora and fauna from RuneScape and Old School. How have we translated those designs over into what we do?
So again, in flora and fauna, let's start with fauna is the more interesting one. So creatures, right? This is so we've had so much fun in this game making the creatures. So you'll see, firstly we're a game. Unfortunately, we made these amazingly cute creatures, but we need to hunt these creatures, right? So we have to craft. We've got to make leather. We've got to make all of these different things. So there's a huge variety of creatures. Each do
that's
give
a
you
goblin.
different resources, obviously, when you successfully hunt. But where it's really interesting for art, rather than just sort of putting in these creatures, we're trying to manipulate these creatures. This is a magical world. That anima that we spoke about, that's mutating the world, it's mutating them too, right? So you're starting to see predators and prey creatures adopting different visual characteristics that's in that world. So the predators, glowing eyes and spikes and thorns, whereas some of the more, the prey creatures, a little bit more flowery, a little bit more plant-like. But we've had a lot of visual fun because it actually is really interesting. So again, we look at what RuneScape did, we bring something else, we add this anima twist on top.
Amazing. And we're seeing a slideshow of the characters. There's a particularly cute looking Zanuck there.
Yep.
So these characters look amazing, including the player character as well. So what's the vision for the style of character that we're playing as?
Quickly with just the NPCs, you just had Zanuck on screen there. So Zanuck was, again, we look at old school, we look at RuneScape, and this is what our artists do. There is a formula to it. So it's kind of, we study it, we squint, we figure out what is really important. In Zanuck's case, big blue eyes, her hair is very distinctive, her clothing. So we took elements. There was a lot of talk about the color of her. She was a cave goblin. So it was like there was a lot of arguing about, well, what color green should it be? But we put a lot of effort into it. But we have to realize that creature in our engine, in our style. So so it's about what will our players really miss if we don't include, but then what sort of flavor, what taste we can add on top that sort of stamps it as a character in our game. So we've had a lot of fun with the NPCs, and hopefully a lot of RuneScape players will recognize the ones that we've put in there. But in terms of players, so again, hugely important progression, right? You want your outfits, you want your armor, you want your weapons to look great, right? You want bragging rights. You're going to start off pretty much naked in the game. You've got to craft the most basic leather things. So this is what you're going to see. So again, we follow the formula. This is what we do. It's like, so at the beginning, you shouldn't be good at what you're doing. I mean, imagine we had to make clothes. I wouldn't know how to do it. So it's like, so the stitching's all over the place. It's
so there'll be like a tailoring skill.
It won't protect you very well. So it's the idea that as you get better, as you progress, you're going to see better craftsmanship, better artistry, right? This is where the art actually creeps in, where people, there's aesthetics to it as well. It's not just functional.
They go in full detail.
The materials are going to get better, so it's getting more and more, giving you more and more protection.
Amazing.
So we've had a lot of fun with our character designs.
It's been great seeing it come together and seeing, especially.
So I wonder if that will mean like when you kill an animal, you skin it like that. If there will be a skill for that gets better over time, which will give you better leather. Then obviously which you'll use for the tailoring.
Mods, Sharky, and Art. Thank you so much for joining us on the sofa.
So it'll all connect like
an
that.
Absolute pleasure. So, folks, I would like to introduce our last guests for the stream. I realize we are eating through this wonderful hour I've set aside for us, but I'd like to introduce two very special guests. Our very own CEO, Mr. Mod North, and his partner in crime for this particular instance is, as he's back on the sofa, Mod Dutch. Welcome on in. How are we doing today? Are we good?
Excited. So excited. Incredible day.
So, Mod North, Mod Dutch, this is an incredible day for Jagex and in the RuneScape franchise as a whole and our history. Mod North, can you tell us a little bit about your journey with RuneScape Dragonwilds to where we are today?
Yeah, not nearly as long as this, guys. That's the truth. I've been a player. I've been a fan. I've been somebody who's spent tens of hours playing the games behind the scenes through various builds, various iterations, levels of maturity. And mostly my experience is going to be very similar to what many in our audience will have ultimately. As an executive, I've been a sponsor of this program from behind the scenes and from within my current job. But first and foremost, I've been the cheerleader, I think.
I think our first interaction was a fleeting one, just in a sort of side channel at RuneFest. I bumped into you, and you were like, "Oh, you're on the Dragonwilds team! Oh, it's so exciting!" And immediately that excitement was there. So I think we're all as excited as each other about today. So people are excited to get their hands on this thing. So let's talk about the fact that this is going to be a single purchase product. So people will invariably want to know, what sort of price are we looking at?
Yeah, it's a good question. So this will be a single purchase product, as you've said, which is quite new for Jagex, and it will be priced at $29.99 in the US, but also in Europe. And then in the UK, it'll be priced at $24.99 in British pounds.
Excellent. Well, there you go. There's a
the
straight
regional
answer.
pricing for everywhere else.
And to be clear to everyone at home, this is a single purchase. That's no additional additive bonuses on top of that. And I've had this question a lot across our various socials of folks asking the same thing. And we're just interested in making this product the best it can be right now. We're not interested in anything more than just let's make this game the best it can be. And we want to value your time, your contributions. Your feedback is so formative to everything we're doing. So we really do truly appreciate that first and foremost. So we really appreciate it. That's something that I'm glad to be able to keep going out there and hammering home. I think it's something that we're all very, very proud of, and we really stand by and believe. And as I've said a few times in the stream alone, as I've said on every single social, everywhere, all the time, you're probably sick to the back teeth of me saying it, this is an early access title. It's going into early access. It means that we're getting players in early, and you are going to be giving us feedback now through early access, but then beyond into our full launch, and then wherever that takes us. More and more of this game is going to be guided by the feedback that we get and our understanding of what means the most to you as players, as RuneScape fans, as survivors, as whatever you may label yourself as. That's the thing that's really important to us. It's going to be a lot of work for me, but that's fine. That's, I believe the phrase
So
is
he likes to mention how much he's working.
but that's fine. That being said, how long do we expect this to be in early access for?
Who would you like to go first, the executive producer or the highly ambitious CEO? Which would you prefer?
Let's go, Mod Dutch, let's start with some pragmatism here, why don't we? I mean, no, you know what? Let's start with relentless optimism. Mod North, why don't you set us up?
Look, for me, ultimately, the honest answer is when it's ready, right? It's done when it's done. And as you've expressed very eloquently so far, Jagex at its best is a company that listens to its players, works with its players, builds its games with its players, and that's part of the reason why we've seen the success that we have with the rest of the RuneScape titles. That's no different here, ultimately. It's so important that we get this right, and that the players are the leading voice in us getting that right. Personally, though, I would love to see this game launch next year. He says, smiling at Mod Dutch, but I would love to see this. Mostly as a player, I'd love to get my hands on a full global launch product then. But it's more important that we get it right than we get it fast.
Yes, absolutely. And we really, again, we want that to be our driving motivation. Is it's ready when it's ready, and we're not trying to make this more than it is right now. It's an early access game, and we're the
we know this. Can you show us some gameplay with the dragon, please?
Among a pantheon of some of the biggest MMOs ever in a franchise of titans. We're a humble little upstart. We're figuring ourselves out right now, but we're getting there, right? Is that similarly you've always used, the sort of metaphor you used when I first joined?
Yeah, no, I think that we are standing on the shoulders of giants already, and the RuneScape franchise is amazing, and the teams are amazing. And I'm going to do a shout out to all the teams at Jagex. Your devotion and your talent has made this possible, and our alpha players and our burgeoning community. We are doing this for you, and without your passion, it wouldn't have been possible. Thank you.
Well, that's me sold. All that's left for me to ask is a very important question that I think everyone wants to know. When can individuals out there across the world, when can people get their hands on RuneScape Dragonwilds?
I am incredibly excited to announce that it's available now. You can go head on over to Steam because it is available now. We are shadow dropping it. You can go right now and download it.
I'm a fucking nerd.
There you go. I can hear them going crazy out there.
The
It's
whole
amazing.
business is next door, losing their minds right now. That's amazing.
I love it. I'm so excited. I spoke to dozens of players who came up to me who recognized me for some reason. I'm really obvious to spot. I don't know. Who came up to me and wanted to know, when are we going to get to see this? When is this amazing project going to see the light? And I had to keep my lips sealed. I was biting my lip, desperate to tell people the news, but we thought this was an amazing opportunity to bring players in early, show you what we've been working on, and then now it's over to you. We're going to be live on a host of social platforms you can follow us on.
I'd still like to
Jump
see
on
some
in.
actual
We'll be sharing
gameplay.
Dev diary snippets, more behind the scenes, into the changes we're making, patch notes, known issues, everything, and the occasional Mod Doom approved meme for good measure. But now it's over to you. Holy Zamorak, it brings us here tomorrow. We've done it. So on behalf of all of us here at Jagex and the RuneScape Dragonwilds team, we just want to say thank you, don't we?
Yeah, thank you so much, everybody, and we'll see you all in Ashenfall.
See you in there. Take care, everyone.
Okay, I really wanted to see some gameplay. They didn't show some, so that's a little disappointing.
Right. So,
but, yeah.
I've got a little bit of time while the others are away. So, of course, again, I want to do a little bit more of the community-facing stuff while you wait for your copy of the game to install. Right? You've done that already, right? We're doing that.
I wish I had
right.
done that already.
Anyway, so we are now live with an amazing dragon-slaying quest for you and up to 3 of your friends to hop into and get the most of. we've got more on the way. Everything you're getting hands-on with today is just the beginning. There's going to be more NPCs, more quests, more dragons, more of everything. And we are going to develop this game for many years to come. Thank goodness Mod Dutch doesn't have any more hair to lose, because it's only going to get more work from here. Of course, where we head is defined by you, the community. So my beloved scapers and survivors around the world are why I'm so excited to get this thing rolling. We are going to be standing by. If you run into bugs, issues, problems, we're going to be hammering out fixes to issues as quickly as we can. And we're going to be keeping you updated with patch notes. We're going to be keeping you updated with issues we're aware of. We're investigating whatever we can share whenever. We want to make sure that we are expecting you to feel like you're coming along this journey with us. That's what we want from it. That's what you should understandably want from us. So we're going to try and uphold our end of the bargain, because you've already upheld your end of the bargain by being the best community on the planet. So I'm in an amazing position. I'm very privileged to be part of such an awesome team launching this thing. But here is where the fun begins. Some folks have already sent in some questions, but I am actually very aware that there are already people desperate to jump in and start sharing their experiences with you, the community. So I think we should go over and find someone to raid on Twitch. If you are tuning in, we're going to be joining in a bit of a raid, and we're going to be finding a creator who's going to be getting hands-on with RuneScape Dragonwilds right now. And we're going to be taking it over to them so you can see the game in action and join in all of the fun. But this has been absolutely amazing. This has been a secret that I have tried to keep as tight-lipped as possible.
I'm sure it hasn't been difficult.
Jagex has been so excited for this moment. So thank you to everyone at Jagex for not telling anyone about this. Thank you to everyone on the RuneScape Dragonwilds team for making a game that's so easy to talk about. Are you kidding me? Look at this.
Okay. Yeah, we get it. That's awesome. Okay. So let's look at the Steam page quickly. It is up for sale. Let me just bring this up here. Yeah, here we go. Here it is. $360. I don't know what that is in, well, I know what it is in my hand. I'm talking about dollar version. Let's see. They must have a converter. Yeah, it's like $18, so that's not bad. Damn, okay. Well, I'm gonna try and get my hands on a copy of this. That'll be really sweet. It was okay. Not very much gameplay from what I wanted, unfortunately. But yeah, if we can get a copy of it, we're gonna be jamming it. So yeah, interesting. I don't have too much more to say on that. But yeah, you know where to go if you want it. Take you in the next one.